Six violent criminals in a halfway house must band together to survive the night. James Howarth, Brittany Joan White, starring in Hack House. What's happening, everybody in podcast land? It's Mr. Doug Carrion from Los Angeles, California. How are we today? Where are we today? Are the zeros and ones getting to you? Are you doing well? I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the biosphere, in the sphere. Really excited about this movie. It's called Hack House. It was something. We got through it. It was pretty crazy. Lots of twists and turns and things I didn't see coming, and then a couple things that just kind of creeped me out all the way around. Let me introduce to you my partner in crime, the lady that puts the R in Ratchet, Miss Courtney Blue. Join me, Courtney.
Hi, guys.
Ooh.
Welcome back.
Going on? Yes. Courtney, did you see Hack House? Did you see this movie?
Unfortunately, I did.
Tell me everything. Come on. Tell me everything.
I am so excited to dive into this because I commend you. You really brought it this week. The name of the podcast is Worst of the Worst, and you really did put a period on that name. So I applaud you.
Is a bottom feeder. It was a bottom feeder. Definitely a bottom feeder. That
exactly.
Was tricky.
I'm proud of you.
Well, you know what? I can't wait a little bit later in the show to talk about the next one. So just wait. Yes. You think this is it? I'm bringing my I guess you could say it's like I'm in opposite land. It's like A game, only it's like your D game. So It's like the A to D game. I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll figure it out. Joining us today, our first guest ever on the Worst of the Worst podcast, episode number 4, from New York City, Mr. Kevin Gootee. I'm pronouncing it the right way, from Watching Comics podcast. Kevin, what's going on? Welcome to the show. Holy shit. What's happening?
Wow, holy shit is right. Would you have 8 cups of coffee here in that fucking intro? Whoa, all right.
Dude, that's nothing.
You haven't seen him on a good day. It must be like one of those tired, sluggish, really got out of the bed on a bad side of the freaking bed morning for Doug. Because he's tame.
Yeah, this is cocaine. This is not coffee. You're right.
Yeah, no, I'm going big. So, Kev, did you see this movie? Did you check it out? And what did you think? What were your thoughts? Kind of bullet points. What were your thoughts?
I watched the trailer, and that's all I could tolerate.
Oh, my God, you're so funny. I love it.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
No, it's pure garbage. And I want to shame you for wasting my quality time.
For looping you for looping you into it. All right, so we've got Courtney, who's seen it, Kev, who's kind of trying to piece it together through the trailer, and myself, and I have seen this thing twice. I watch it once. I don't.
Do you have an allergic reaction to quality free time?
Dude, it's I'm a man of my word. Yeah. Okay, well so we're gonna get into this thing, Hack House 2017, and away we go. So the story, basically what's happening is that the governor this is in California, this is in Los Angeles. The governor in Los Angeles has allowed convicts who have been in prison and they've done about 50% of their time are allowed now to go do the remaining part of their time in a halfway house. So all these halfway houses are popping up in Los Angeles, private halfway houses. But the problem is that crime is on the rise, and crime in Los Angeles in these halfway houses is now up 21%. So they're letting out the bad guys. The bad guys are living in the community, and the bad guys are fucking people up. Okay. So the movie opens, and we see straight out of the gate, there's not even one piece of dialogue, and there's a dead body, topless, I might add, Courtney. So we've already got boobs.
Yes,
we've got a dead body.
Boobs, plus for you.
There you go. See, I'm bringing the T game today. I'm bringing the T game. So we got boobs. We've got some guy that's rocking back and forth, talking to himself about this, that, or the other thing. He's clearly the guy that's killed the girl. The girl's cut up, so again, like on the timeline, 0-1 dead body. 0-1
You know
on
what,
the dead
Doug?
body. Yeah.
Starting right off the gate, I had faith in this movie because it had no long intro. There was just the fucking really cheesy production company name and then like a couple extra words about like who stars in it. And then boom, lady on the slab with her titties out and guy rocking back and forth. I was like, yes, straight to the point. Like, this actually might be a winner.
Exactly. It's indicative of like gonzo porn, right? Just they go right in for the kill. We don't need no story. Kev, we don't need a story. We're going right in, boom. That's it. So
thank God. I thought I had to go and read the book before. Read the novel that preluded this cinematic extraordinaire.
Brother, I'm gonna talk you all the way through it. We're gonna share it together. We're gonna get this experience together. So in come the cops. Of course, the cops jump on the guy. Yeah. They arrest the guy. Yeah. They take the guy down to the station. So now the guy that was in the room, we're assuming it was a halfway house, has killed the black girl. He's going into the station, and our main character, Bill, is coming out of the station. And Bill's kind of being led to this Suburban, like one of those FBI kind of cars. And this Suburban is driving him to where he's going to go, to this halfway house. So you can kind of put it together from the cheesy intro that he must be one of these guys that's getting out of prison. He's going to go spend some time. He's getting his ride over there. So he's driving over there, and we go, basically, he starts to check into the halfway house, and he meets the director. And the director is this guy named Alex, who's just a total creep and a half. Very authoritarian kind of guy. Like, can
we talk about Alex, please?
Yeah.
Let me delve into Alex.
Go.
I actually fucking love Alex.
No.
And I'll tell you why. You're not going to treat these pieces of shit with dignity. They killed people. The girl I understand. But the rest of them have killed people, raped people, done really despicable shit. He was actually pretty tame. I would have been on their ass way harder than he was. He actually was pretty tame. And it seemed like he was nothing. He was all talk. He was all bark, no bite. I'm pretty sure. Because I didn't see him really strike a whip or do anything to scare anybody, like legit, other than talking down to them. I loved Alex. Praising Alex in this movie.
Okay, so you're a fan of Alex. So
I am.
So basically what's happening is that Alex is introducing Bill, the main character, to all the people at the halfway house. And there are these different characters. You have Jenny, and I'm going to do a bad Forrest Gump thing, Jenny, every once in a while, because there's some fucking funny scenes where, whatever, I'll get into it a little bit later. So there's Jenny, and Jenny basically is in the halfway house, and her deal is she had robbed a bank, but while she was robbing a bank, she had robbed this jewelry store, but while she had robbed the jewelry store, the owner of the jewelry store was in the back office, and he was this, according to her, a sausage-fingered Persian man.
Sausage fingers? Wait, we gotta wait till we get to that part.
Did you catch?
Sorry.
Right. Holy shit. So he had come around the corner, and he grabbed her, and he ends up, I don't know why, I guess bank robbery and rape is in the same box. And so he's raping her, and she grabs this shard of glass. Zap! She hits him in the neck with the shard of glass. He dies. The cops come on the scene, and they just see her in a pool of the fat Persian sausage-fingered man's blood. How did I get that out? And there you go. So that's her backstory. Then there's Tommy, who's in for assault, and he's kind of like the cool, mysterious guy, played by Brandon Fisher, by the way, who wrote this film. So if you want to know somebody to blame, this is the fucker to blame here.
Who wrote it?
Tommy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Come on. So Tommy is this guy, and he's in there for assault. And he's maybe like a pseudo mob guy or whatever. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's why he's in there. And then there's Michael, who I'm going to refer to from this point forward as Irish Mike. And Irish Mike is in there because he's kind of like a
fucking Irish accent, just putting it out there.
A really bad, like IRA, pseudo IRA guy, okay?
Worse than Brad Pitt in that film he did with Harrison Ford.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about Snatch or whatever?
No, it was before Snatch. God damn it.
I don't think I know it then.
I don't know.
It probably is worse.
Hold on. Brad
it's worse than
Pitt,
many I've heard.
IRA film, Harrison Ford. Hold on.
Oh my God.
The Devil's
think
Own.
about it.
Boom.
No,
The Devil's
didn't
Own.
see it. Was it? I thought he was pretty good.
Don't rush.
I thought he was in pretty good. I thought he did Snatch. He did pretty good. I thought
That's an English accent. But yeah, the Irishman, who's an IRA guy who stays in Harrison Ford's house, is The Devil's Own. It was not good.
No,
I gotta see
you're
it.
just giving it a thumbs down. Well, thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. So, Brad Pitt, if you're out there in podcast land, I guess you upped your game and you're doing great. Yeah, there you go. You're doing great. So Irish Mike is this IRA guy. He got thrown in there because he was selling weapons and such. And then you have Mickey. Okay, now Mickey is kind of like a middle-aged guy that's in there, and here's his backstory. You ready for this, Kevin?
Mm-hmm.
He caught his wife fucking his dad, and he decided that he was going to carve whore on her. He might have even spelled it wrong.
I'm done.
So that's just so you know where Mickey's coming from. He caught
coming from the Ivy League college system. Awesome.
Maybe so. Maybe Mickey Spillane right there.
And how does the dad look compared to Mickey? Is she justified in fucking his dad because Mickey's not a good-looking fella?
Well, I'm not. See, here's what threw me off. I'm going to say Mickey is probably about 45, so let's throw 20 more years on there. He had kids at a young age. That's going to throw the dad up there at around 65, 70. That girl must be a freak.
No,
that's crazy.
Papa could have been bomb. Like, you know what? Some daddies can get it. Like, no, don't put Papa Mickey down. I don't know what his name is, but
this is Courtney's way of saying that she loves to fuck 20 guys 20 years older than her on the regular.
That's fine.
Older guys.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, there it is. We're just gonna keep rolling.
If I was single, ask my husband. He would put $20 down on that.
Oh, wow. And then my favorite kind of creepy, because all halfway houses have them. There's Daryl, who's the pedophile. Okay, so you got one of those two. So it's this big giant cast of characters, and Alex is introducing Bill to everybody and telling him, make sure you don't fuck up. Make sure you follow all the rules, blah, blah, blah. And you find out basically that in this halfway house, they lock everything down from 12 midnight till 8 a.m. They're supposed to be in their rooms, no bathroom breaks, with the doors locked. You got to pee in a bottle. So that's kind of how it works, right? So basically, Bill is on the phone, so they're slowly setting it up. Bill's on the phone talking to the guy who had dropped him off, whose name was Detective Quinn, and he's telling him, you got to keep your head down, don't get into any trouble, just don't get into any trouble, just ride this thing out. So Bill's kind of cruising around the place. He goes into this very small rec room, and he's playing pool, and he's kind of hanging out by himself playing pool, okay? He's kind of doing his thing. Because he's the newbie, right? And then Jenny is walking down the hall, and Irish Mike is in the hall, and he said to her, quote, "I'd like to smell your beaver dipped in whiskey."
Yeah.
Now, Courtney.
Sounds like Ronnie the limo driver from Stern Show.
What the hell is going on? I'm not quite sure. On the last film that we watched, do you remember in Coffee we had learned that there was the whiskey dick blowjob,
yep.
But this time we're going in the other. So genitalia and alcohol seem to be a theme.
They both sound like a good time, Doug. Just
and there and you know what? Later on, Courtney, we're going to hit another theme that has hit, I think, all three movies. Do you know what it is?
What?
Okay, I'm not going to split. Well,
that would be
it's titties and a knife. Titties and a knife.
Huh.
That is the worst emo band name I've ever heard.
That's great. Titties and a knife. They're performing at the Bucket Club. Come see them. So, needless to say, Jenny, of course, doesn't want to have her beaver dipped in whiskey. So she's
not a team player, obviously.
She's not a team player for Irish Mike, But it's funny that they hit. Not only is it vulgar, but they also throw the socially questionably correct thing about him being a drunk and he's drinking whiskey, which I thought was pretty funny. It's like a double. on that one, like the Daily Double.
Good.
They double dip on that one.
We were DP.
Finally, Jenny punches him in the crotch. She gives him a ball shot. Boom, he gets hit. Irish Mike's kind of out of the mix. She finally goes into the pool room, and she sees Bill. They really don't know each other. And she says she wants to play pool too. And then Jenny goes on her little diatribe saying, I didn't kill anybody. All the things that Alex says about me aren't true. And she kind of explains the story of the sausage finger. At least for me, I'm wondering, like, what's her angle for telling Bill about her?
Exactly.
What do you think? What do you think?
And I thought that would be I thought that would be answered, but it wasn't, unless I missed it.
Nope. So needless to say, they blow the whistle. It's time for all of the cast of characters to go have dinner. So they go into their little mess hall area. Okay. And I'm going to have to say, I see Gregor blowing a chicken drumstick. And it was the first time. Now, I've seen a lot of different things in my time, but I've never seen a man blow a drumstick.
I would love to see what Roseanne would have to say about that.
Courtney, have you ever seen something like that in your travels? No, but I have
to say, I was quite aroused. I mean, it did something for me.
Meow.
It did something for me.
Right, so
that chicken, by the way, looked awful. So,
nasty.
Honestly, that looked like it was the only purpose. That chicken was terrible. I'm
nasty. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. So Jenny says to Gregor, like, "Oh, you think that's going to work as far as picking up on girls?" And the group's kind of starting to sit around, and they're all kind of talking about how much they hate Alex, and Alex is basically kind of a prick and doesn't let him have a lot of privileges and so forth and so on. Finally, Gregor, the guy that's blowing the drumstick, is throwing his food at Daryl, the pedophile guy. Okay, and Daryl's kind of this meek, kind of quiet, nerdy kind of guy with glasses, and it's pretty sad. They're picking on him, and Bill's trying to tell him, "Hey, man, you should leave the guy alone." They tell Bill, you should get some food. So Bill now is going to get some food because he's the first time he's in the halfway house. And then you see Gregor, right, drumstick guy, poking the Jenny girl in the ass with the drumstick, right? Did you see that, Courtney?
Sure did.
Okay, great. Awesome. I'm glad you caught that one. And then she flips around and she has a knife. And then not only does she have a knife, but also Gregor has a knife. So it's kind of like this instant standoff in the kitchen. And then
you could tell it's happened before.
Sure. Well, these are some crazy people. They're
like
crazy
do a dance.
People.
First of all, wait, no, Doug. Why do they let these crazy fucking people have knives? Like, they're legit steak knives. Like, has nobody figured that out? That crazy, not escaped, but crazy, like previous convicts should not be given knives to cut their badass chicken with. I don't know if that was in their fucking forms that they signed when they got there, but I don't think that was ever a good idea.
I don't know. Kevin, what do you think? Do you think people in halfway houses should be allowed sharp instruments and potential weapons?
Of course they do. Kill themselves and save everybody the tax money.
See?
I like
okay,
there you go. See, there you go. Like a true accountant. My other gig is, that's funny. So needless to say, I'm wondering again, as there's this knife standoff, where's Alex, the guy that's supposed to be the director warden guy? Like, he's nowhere to be found. Finally, Tommy, who's supposed to be the mob guy, is able to separate the two of them. And he kind of like Jenny pokes the knife toward his apron, but he's not worried about getting stabbed. So I'm wondering, like, is Tommy hitting Jenny on the side? Is that like a little fling? Courtney, did you pick up a vibe there or no?
You know what? I didn't. I really didn't pay Tommy much attention, to be honest. Really? I felt like the other characters had more development, and they just took my attention. But I definitely should have caught that. I always catch the freaky shit. You know that.
Right. Interesting. So, needless to say, Tommy breaks up the fight. Alex comes in. He tells everybody to get out of here. He's kind of pushing him out of the way. Alex tells Bill, and remember, it's Bill's first night, and he's a newbie, and he tells him, dinner time is over, but I'm going to give you an extra 10 minutes to eat, but don't ever fuck up again. Right. So Bill's like, oh, okay, thank you. You know, he gets his food. And then we find out that Mickey, who's the guy, remember the whore carving husband who slept with the husband guy, slept with the dad guy, he gets special privileges, and we don't really know why, but Mickey is at this bar, okay? And so I was like, wow, I can't believe Mickey's out roaming the town. He's at this bar, he's knocking back drinks. This other girl is up there, right? And she's at the bar too, and she's having this conversation on the phone, like, "Fuck you, Bob! I can't believe you're cheating on me." Blah, blah, blah,
I'm
blah,
sorry. I'm sorry. The moment she came in the frame, I was like, I fucking hate this bitch. Oh my god. Not only did I hate her really terrible acting, like of all the people in this fucking movie, she was the worst. I hated her.
Right.
Her obviously like fucking. I don't know, scripted. I mean, of course it's scripted, but it was like uber scripted phone conversation would sound completely fake. You know those crazy people that walk down the street and act like they're talking on the phone, but they're really fucking talking to themselves? She reminded me of that. She annoyed the shit out of me.
That's pretty funny.
Continue.
So Mikey's line to her is, she's like, you know, hey, can I sit down? And he's like, you know, yeah, I hate people that talk on cell phones. That's kind of what his deal is.
Yeah.
So I don't know why. And the other thing too is there's this you know, she's a younger girl. I'm going to call her about 22, and he's an older guy. I'm going to call him about 50. And so there's this gap, and you're wondering, like, why is this girl that's in Los Angeles for work, staying by herself, knocking back all these shots with this guy that she doesn't really know? But, you know, later we're going to find out. Mikey buys her a drink. She's knocking back the drinks. The movie goes back, and it's now Tommy and Bill are in the kitchen. And Tommy is telling Bill basically that he wants to make sure that everybody at the halfway house behaves, because that's their only opportunity to stay out. And Tommy definitely doesn't want to go back to jail. So that's kind of their that's why Tommy is so serious about trying to make sure that, you know, there's no fights and there's no problems. Exactly. So we're back to the bar. The bar girl, Amber, by the way, is knocking back shots, knocking back shots. And he tells her that he lives in a halfway house. Okay. Now, I don't know what's going on and what this Amber girl is thinking, but she continues to move forward with the relationship as opposed to moving backwards. Now, Kevin, you seem like maybe you might have had an adult beverage once or twice in your life. If you were to walk into a bar and you met a girl that had said that she was living at a halfway house, would you think that would be a stomping good time, or would you run in the other direction? Where are you with that? Is that a deal breaker?
No, I mean she'd give a hell. She'd give a hell of a BJ. I promise you.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I would not be. That's not my forte.
Okay.
I would not go back to her halfway house with her. I would just have sex with her in the bar bathroom like an adult would, and then leave and never talk to her again.
Like a responsible adult. I appreciate
exactly.
That.
Right. See, I think by sheer numbers, you know, I mean, you never know. Maybe the girl's been incarcerated for a long time, so maybe that could be a good, you know, back behind the dumpster kind of a relationship.
Us crazy bitches are the best. So I would give anyone who's crazy a shot, because crazy people, there's one thing that they're not bad at, and that's a fucking good fucking. So just say.
Okay, so you're saying, okay, well, we're going to get into that. So you're putting your chips on crazy good, being bad. Yes. So she even says something to the effect of, you know, they're doing shooters. She's like, here's to being bad and second chances. So, you know, she's there you go. That just goes to show where her head is.
Where we're at right now.
Right, where we are on the timeline. So, of course, Amber and Mikey are having drinks. And I'm still scratching my head wondering, well, how old is she and how old is he? That's kind of, it seems like she's awfully desperate. Lord knows she never watches the news, or else she'd know that people that lived at halfway houses are partially responsible for the crime rate going up 21% in Los Angeles, but she doesn't know that stuff. Needless to say, we're back in the hallway, and now Jenny and Bill are comparing notes, and they're talking about who the different people are at the halfway house. And Jenny's kind of starting to work her way back to her room, and Bill's walking with her. And this is when she tells him the story about her robbing the store. Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, I guess he doesn't really know how to take it. Like, what?
I don't think he really gives a shit, to be honest with you. I think he just wants to survive, and he knows he's in a place with a bunch of fucking crazy convicts like himself, and he just needs to keep to himself and know as little about everybody as possible. I think that's kind of where he is in this movie.
Right. I did think, though, that her storyline was pretty interesting. I thought that maybe, the story about her and the robbing and the rape, and it's like that would have been a great story all on its own. It was
well put together. I mean, that was kind of believable. It could happen.
That was pretty cool. But unfortunately, we're going down the Hack House timeline, so we're on a different thread. So next scene, Daryl basically is walking, and he's the pedophile guy, and he gets jumped by Irish Mike, and I'm wondering, like, whoa, is Irish Mike like that ripped on the Rumpelmans or whatever, and is he going to try to rape the poor guy? And so they're kind of pushing and shoving, and it moves into Alex, and Alex kind of tells everybody that it's time to go to bed and it's locked down, so everybody's starting to disperse and go to their...
I love how Alex disappears during the most pivotal moments in the fucking movie. All that noise, and he's nowhere to be found.
Right. Which is pretty funny for such a small little space, By the way, speaking of small space, the entire film was shot in a 1-bedroom condo.
I completely believe it.
Yeah, 95% of it, with the exception of two exterior shots. Other than that, 95%.
You know what? A+ for creativity, because that shit looked like it was about 7 rooms. So I like it.
Right. That's funny. So anyway, Mikey ends up taking the Amber girl back to the halfway house, and he's trying to sneak her in. And they sneak into this like closet, and I'm thinking like, and the girl's saying, you want to do it in here, and I guess I'm thinking like, are they hiding, or is this where they're going to like start screwing in the closet or whatever? Right. But he's kind of slowly trying to get her toward his room before lockdown. So Mikey's trying to get Amber over that way. Alex is kind of making the rounds, slowly checking the doors and making sure that they're all locked. And then there's a shot of Alex kind of toward his office area, and he's drinking, and he's kind of like, it's the end of the day, time for me to knock a few back. Moves to Irish Mike, and of course Irish Mike is in his room and he's drinking. What a surprise. And it's time for all the crazies to go to bed. Mikey and the ladies start to get undressed. Now, at the same time that Mikey and Amber are getting undressed, you're also watching Jenny get undressed. Mm-hmm. You're watching Bill unpack, and you're watching the bar girl get undressed for Mikey, and she's kind of like doing
a really bad striptease. It was fucking awful.
Whoa!
Just putting it out there.
Did you have like? I thought the lighting in this thing, it was so dark.
It's
like
so bad.
I was like, fucking turn the lights on already. I can't see anything in this movie. So, could you see anything in the trailer, Kevin?
Yes, I could see that minute and a half I'll never get back in my life again. That's what I saw.
He saw it drift away slowly.
Yeah, right, when you said it was shot in a 1-bedroom condo, you can tell that's where all the budget went. It sure did not go to script doctoring or script improvement. That's for sure.
Right. Funny. So Irish Mike is doing his thing. He's shadowboxing. Bill in his room finds this box with his name on it. The bar girl is dancing. She's topless now.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, she's topless, Kevin, and she's dancing.
It was nothing. To look twice at.
Yeah, and then
Brittany gives her a thumbs down on them titties, huh?
Yeah,
Right?
Courtney gives her the thumbs down. Yeah, Courtney gives her the thumbs down.
I never give thumbs down on titties, but
Really?
It wasn't doing it for me.
I want you to describe her titties, not just for me, but for the audience as well.
They were slightly non-existent with a little bit of bee sting, kind of. I guess a bee sting that you scratched a couple days and it kind of puckers up a little bit.
Not in my house. Not in my house.
Right. They were.
No, ma'am. It's a C-cup or better to play this game.
There you go. So she is definitely riding the A cups. She's definitely riding the A cups. So it was a little, it was like, for a minute there, you're like,
generous, but yeah.
Okay,
right,
well,
I'll give it to you.
So
was she like 13 years old? Is that the problem here?
No, you know what?
No.
They were mature there. They were mature. They're like, maybe she got her period at like 22. That's where they were.
Anorexic probably then.
Yeah, she's young. She's young. So Mikey is trying to finally he pulls out his handcuffs that he had under the pillow, and he's gonna. So he snuck the girl into the halfway house. He's got her naked on his bed, and now he's got her cuffed. She doesn't let out.
He's a closer, goddammit. Take notes and give respect.
Right. So Mikey is getting it done. So he's got locking her up. Right. He's got her blindfolded and he's cuffing her and all that. Okay. And you're like, wow, that's kind of interesting. But then all of a sudden, Mikey, because now she's blindfolded and she can't see anything and she's locked to the bed with her hands above her head. You know what I mean? Kevin, you do this all the time, right?
Jess did it right now to myself.
Okay, cool. So she's got her hands. Okay, just checking in, brother. Just checking in. So she's got her hands above her head. But what was kind of great and made maybe one hair on my arm stand up was that after he's got her all splayed out and stuff like that, then he puts on his mask. And his mask is this skull mask meets Ninja Turtle. Courtney, explain what the mask was, because that's all I could think of was Skull Ninja Turtle. What was it?
I felt as though I was watching, when that happened, I thought I was watching the worst scene in Purge, because I love the Purge franchise, but ever since I've seen Purge, every movie that has a slight scene of a mask or something over someone's face, or some robber with some shit over his face, I always compare it to it. But it was trash. It was trash. I have no idea. I wouldn't even be frightened by that. I'd be just like, okay, take me.
Interesting. Well, that was. I
like how you just admitted that you're a fan of the Purge. You are brave. Very brave.
Kevin.
Oh boy. I'm all ears. I'm ready for you to justify your horrible taste in films.
I am married to a Kevin, okay? So I always say Kevins are the best. But if you say one thing,
listen.
Terrible,
no one knows how to make you sound like a Kevin, right?
Exactly. There you go.
Boom.
But no, if you utter one bad word about the Purge franchise, I am just going to flip the table on the end of the podcast. You heard me?
Oh, man.
Okay. So here, go ahead, Kevin.
I was going to say, I can offer you a list, and your husband can too, of quality films, not films that, that 8-year-olds
I'm so excited to hear your version of quality films. I'm so excited. I am the biggest and baddest review roaster. I will challenge you to send me that list. And
then you can go on my website, kevingootee.com, where I regularly post movie reviews, and you can joust with me. Or I tell you what, we're going to derail the conversation from this horrible film because, let's face it, it's terrible. You can go on my Facebook page, and you both have friended me, and I have accepted because I'm a gracious man. You accepted
it because I'm fucking gorgeous, and you're like, let me stare at her all day, but it's okay.
Right. You can go on my page and you can see the films I'm demanding the AFI take off their list.
Right.
My daughter's walking the room. Hi, honey.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
You can go on my Facebook page, see the films I've demanded that the AFI take off their list, and see the list of films that I want to have them put on the list.
Sir, I challenge you.
Go right ahead. You can pull it up right now as we talk.
No, listen,
there we
Doug, you need to have us watch one of his not requested, but his most highly reviewed movies, and then we are going to either roast it or give our most brutally honest opinion. We got to do that on like our anniversary episode. You have to do that.
Okay, all right. So we'll get a show. So
yes.
So back to the timeline here. Back to Hack House. So basically, as Mikey is getting things going with the Amber girl, and he's got her tied up, and there's the music and all that, Daryl, Courtney, do you know those things that you make when you're a kid? It's like a paper cutout, and then when you open it up, it's like and he had one of those things. Hey, Kev, is your kid within earshot?
No. She's out of the room now.
Okay, cool.
I have headphones on.
Okay, cool. So he had one of those things with, it was like a paper cutout, and then you stretch it up. It's like all these kids, and he had it laid out on his pillow, and he's like rubbing one out to that thing. Is that what he was doing, Courtney?
Yes.
Holy shit. So for all of the like excitement that I got with Mikey and Amber being handcuffed and stuff,
you went immediately flaccid.
I went immediately flaccid in the other direction with the like, boy, that not only is that just like creepy, that was really creepy, like on the paper dolls. Ooh, that creeped me out.
But that was a
good
move, though. That definitely kept me like, oh shit, they're about to push some buttons. So I kept watching, but I was quickly disappointed.
Right. So here's where it flips. Kevin, ready? So as Daryl, the pedophile, is rubbing one out on the paper dolls.
By the way, is there no better name for a pedophile than Daryl? Like, when you think of the name Daryl, you think of someone who's a dullard. Exactly. Someone who's up to no good. A pedophile,
exactly.
That's the perfect name for a pedophile, is Daryl.
A+ for that.
So Daryl's rubbing one out, okay, and then all of a sudden, it's a two-shot. A guy in a Nixon mask shows up, right? And so you know that it's not Mikey because he's got the Ninja Turtle skull mask, but now it's Nixon mask guy, and Nixon mask guy has this gigantic machete, right? And he cranks like through the rectum Daryl, and Daryl gets stabbed bad. Courtney, have you ever seen that?
No, I was pretty excited about that because I was like, fucking finally, because nothing was happening really until that happened. But no, my question is it true? Is it like, I see this done in movies all the time. If you get like sodomized, are you gonna like bleed out of your mouth right away? Like, I don't know if that's like a chain reaction. I feel like you get a pipe up your ass and it splits your intestines and shit. Is blood gonna pop out of your mouth instantaneously, or is that just like a movie thing, like a cinematic bullshit? I was trying to know that.
Kevin, I know you're a doctor. Tell us.
Actually, my day job is medical sales. How did you know? What was the question? That was a long.
So the question is, if you were impaled via the rectum with some object, would blood spurt out of your mouth?
Right.
I tell you what, your answer is simple. Just ask Mets fans. They're impaled rectally every single day they play Take the Field.
Terrible.
And true. Are you going to bleed out the mouth? The answer is a resounding no.
I didn't think
so.
Didn't think so.
Okay.
Thank you for that knowledge, for dropping one of those knowledge bombs on me, Kevin. I appreciate it.
You're right.
Okay, that's pretty funny. Okay, so finally, everybody hears the scream in the halfway house, and Gregor. Remember, this is a part that was very strange to me. Remember how everybody's supposed to be locked in their rooms?
Yep.
Well, magically, they must have got some cheap-ass locks from Home Depot, but everybody can get out of their freaking rooms. So now Gregor gets up, and Bill gets up because they hear the scream of Daryl getting, macheted in the ass by evil Nixon, right?
Yep.
And Gregor's walking down the hallway. He sees Daryl's door, okay? And behind him we see the killer, Richard Nixon, right? We see the killer, and he goes close to Gregor, and now they're both in the hall, and he tries to stab him, right? And Gregor says to him something to the effect of like, is that all you got, or is that the best you got, or something? And then Gregor grabs the knife with his hand, which gives me the heebie-jeebies because, I'm always worried about getting sliced like that.
I always hate that, dog. I'm like, oh, I couldn't do that. I couldn't grab the knife and hold on while they're trying to pierce through me and it's piercing through my fucking flesh. I couldn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's like holding on to the blade, and then Evil Nixon yanks the machete back and cracks him a few more times. And then there's, I guess I don't know how many kills we are now, but there's blood squirting out of his neck and all that stuff. It's pretty decent. It's a pretty decent kind of cut. And then Nixon comes around and Gregor's laying on the floor and he gives him the full, death blow, like a Viking chopping wood or something. Boom. And so now Gregor's just dead in the hallway. Okay.
Meanwhile, there is no sight of the fucking naked bar girl.
No, she's locked up in silence.
I know that, but they don't pan back to her at all. The whole time I'm like, did he kill her? Like, what's happening? No screams? Why is she not wondering what the fuck's going on outside? She's fucking blindfolded. I would be asking questions, and she has nothing. Right. You don't hear from her.
Right. So I was thinking that too. So, I'm wondering, where's Mikey in this whole thing? And how come he's in his room, but his room's not locked? And then doesn't he see the dead body in the hallway because it's a small halfway house? Needless to say, Jenny comes out, and Jenny's trying to get out of her room because she realizes I don't know why her lock worked and everybody else's didn't. But Bill's going to try to save the day, and he's going to try to kick the door open or whatever. So he kicks in the door, and he's trying to help Jenny escape. And now Bill and Jenny are trying to escape, and they're running. Jenny sees the evil Nixon guy, and she sees the dead Gregor guy, and she screams, screaming, right? And
can we also just all agree on something here? Anytime you see someone in a film wearing a president's mask, I immediately say that's bullshit. They're stealing from Point Break, one of the greatest cinematic adventures ever. So every time I see someone do that, I'm out. I'm done. Like, nope.
Right. It's funny because at one point, one of the characters does refer to Nixon as Point Break.
No.
Oh, shit. I didn't even
me.
notice that.
Yes. Like way down the line.
At least they show homage, and they tried.
Right. They tried. It's pretty funny. So
Utah, give me two. Oh.
Yeah. Johnny. That's a classic. That's a classic.
Indeed.
So needless to say, Mikey is walking slowly down the hall, and he's wearing his creepy mask, his skull Ninja Turtle mask. And I'm wondering, where's the tied-up girl? Like, where is she at this point? Tommy ends up punching Bill. So Tommy, who was the I guess he was the guy that was the mob guy. What's are we calculating?
No. Oh, what's the noise?
What is that?
That was my printers. Printers. Sorry.
I was like, I didn't know what that was. I was
like, what are we calculating?
We're keeping a tally of the death toll.
Okay, good.
That was the best.
So finally, right? Like what? Sorry. So finally, in the hallway, Tommy gets both Bill and Jenny at the same time, and he's got Jenny by the neck, and he's got Bill with a knife, and he's telling him basically, you guys got to chill out. We don't want to end up going back to jail. And Bill tells Tommy, hey man, there is a freak in a mask, and he wants everybody dead. So Bill at this point doesn't know that there's two people in masks. He doesn't know that. So he's kind of like just going on the assumption that there's the Nixon guy. He doesn't know about Ninja Turtle guy.
Hey, Doug,
so, yes.
Let's talk about how I didn't realize it was two different people in masks until
holy
literally
shit.
The last scene.
Really? You're so
I was like,
that's a good point. I got a better idea. Let's fast forward to the last scene.
Okay.
You're terrible.
You don't want to hear
try. I'm ready to talk about it because I wasted my life, Doug.
Come on,
dude. I'm going to hit you with these comments.
It's worth it. It's a good story. So he's choking her. Finally, he lets her go, and they're going to go look for Alex. I'll go faster, Kevin, for you. They're going to go look for Alex. Mikey's in the hallway, but he must have forgotten his date.
Oh, no. Kevin signed up for this shit. You are going to go at a normal pace, sir.
Yeah.
I wasted my an hour and 15 minutes of my fucking life. You are
no.
You
wasted more than that. You wasted more than that. You watched the Purge trilogy, so you wasted a lot more than just an hour and 15 in your life.
Right. So, needless to say, Tommy, Bill, and Jenny, they run into Irish Mike in the hallway, and they feel and Irish Mike tells them that they're totally locked into the building. Okay, so they know that they're all locked in. They can't escape. They're trying to find Alex. Mikey finds Gregor, who was killed by Evil Nixon in the hallway, and Mikey sees all the blood stains, and he steps over the body. He's not even fazed at all. He's not worried about it. And they go into Alex's office, and Alex isn't there, and they're trying to find the keys because they want to try to escape. But, of course, Irish Mike, he finds a bottle of booze, and so he's knocking him back, drinking, oh, Danny boy, oh, Danny boy.
Yep.
Finally, we go. I'm still wondering where's the bar girl and why the bar girl Amber hasn't screamed.
Exactly.
Needless to say, they go inside Alex's office, and they have barricaded the hallway. Right. They barricade the door. There's no cell service. They're totally inside. And they realize that they're going to end up, they want to go back to the kitchen because they think they're going to get weapons there. Okay, so they're inside the kitchen. Irish Mike goes underneath the kitchen sink, and he's trying to get some of the chemicals because he's going to build a bomb. Right. So he's going to make a bomb. That's what he sees. Mikey sees the door with the blood, and he opens it. And so now in the kitchen, it's Tommy, Bill, and Jenny, and they're all looking for weapons. We know that Irish Mike is going to build a bomb. Everybody starts arguing. They're yelling at each other. Tommy's trying to make sense of the situation. And then all of a sudden, a bloody hand comes flying into the kitchen, right? And Mikey says that that's Alex.
How? I don't get how he knew.
Well, hold on a second, because later on in the story, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but
please don't, Doug. I'm not going to
spoil it for you. Not going to spoil it for you. So the hand goes in there, and they're thinking, "Oh shit, Alex is dead too." And so now Mikey says he's going to go back to the room, and he wants Jenny to come have a three-way with him and Amber. Did you catch that one?
Yep, totally did. I saw that.
Okay, so Mikey's trying to, for a halfway house kind of guy, he's throwing pipe. That guy's going to be throwing pipe a little bit later.
It. I'm proud of him.
He's slinging.
He's
slinging
the
pipe.
best of a bad situation.
Right. So they're all kind of like trying to find. They find out that Alex is dead, and they're all kind of moving around this halfway house. And we see Killer Nixon finds the bar girl tied up. Okay, so he goes into Mikey's room. And this is where we're 4 for 4, where there's a machete rub on the tits, where the guy is threatening to cut off the girl's boobs.
Yep.
Right? So, Kevin, did you know that that's a thing in horror films? Is that like a thing in the real world, or is it just in the horror film world?
And in my bedroom, ironically. No, I did not. No, but here's the thing. I haven't watched many horror films. I guess you could classify more as thrillers these days. I haven't really seen like the shitty, schlocky ones, because there really haven't been any good ones in a while, where they used to do that with like the knives on the tits. But I guess the Saw film, not even the Saw films. I'm trying to think what were the ones before that, but it's been a while since I've seen that. I do know of it, but yeah, it's a thing. I guess.
Courtney, did you ever watch those Saw movies?
Sir, you are talking to the biggest horror movie buff on the land, okay?
Whoa.
I have seen every trilogy there is, every franchise, everything. Saw movies were the best. I don't care what you have to say, Kevin. Suck it.
No,
anyway.
No. Some were good, some were not good.
But yeah, that is a thing, though. Doug, that's a thing. I don't know why it's a fucking thing, but it is. As unrealistic as possible is what they aim for. So that's a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. That it seems like I know it's off topic, but it seems like to me like the Saw stuff wasn't really that scary. It was just kind of more just S&M or something. It just wasn't. It just didn't do anything for me. Ooh, no way. That's just
no.
creepy.
The first one did. The first one did because it's like, oh, this could be real, and they just decided to go then down the torture porn route and go,
right.
All right, we're just going to come up with some kind of crazy fucking machines where people will get their fucking ovaries ripped out with a rusty spoon kind of thing, Like
right?
That's what they were kind of doing.
It's pretty creepy. But anyway, back on topic. Back on Hack House, maybe one of the best movies made at that time.
You were going to burn in hell.
In that house, maybe one of the best movies ever made in that condo.
Oh, in that house.
In that one bedroom condo. So, needless to say, Irish Mike and Nixon are now standing off. So Irish Mike has been cruising around. He's looking for a way to escape. Bill and Jenny and Tommy are looking for a way to escape. And Irish Mike is now kind of like sees Nixon, and they're like, it's like this hallway shot, and they're basically like gonna play chicken, and Irish Mike goes running full steam toward Nixon. And Nixon, even though he had the blade, he put the blade aside and pulls out a gun, boom, 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 and Irish Mike gets shot, okay? And I did not know, but Nixon was wearing these latex gloves the whole time. Like, I thought he was just regular, I started to think, like, why would he be wearing, why would this guy go through the trouble of putting on a mask, but putting on latex gloves? So that kind of, I kind of caught that. Anyway, the next kill, this one was pretty interesting. So the Nixon guy is over Irish Mike, and he takes another pair of handcuffs. He puts the pair of handcuffs on Irish Mike, and then he pulls out a grenade, yanks the pin, and handcuffs the grenade to Irish Mike.
Which I thought was badass.
That's been done.
It has been done
in films before.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember. Oh, the fucking Dark Knight. He had in the very opening scene in the bank. He puts a grenade in everyone's hands.
Actually.
Of course I'm right.
Of course you're right.
Been there, done that.
Been there, done that. All right. So finally, the bomb did it not go off? So the bomb doesn't go off. Nixon circles back. Nixon has to use his silencer. Boom, boom, boom. He kills Irish Mike. Okay, cool. And now we're with Bill and Jenny, and they're in the pool room, and they're trying to get the lock of the pool room to work so they can escape. Tommy comes into the hall, and he sees Killer Nixon, and so Tommy's coming around with him, and now we realize that Tommy's kind of like a ninja fighter, right? So
ninja fighter. Yeah, I like how he's a ninja fighter. He's a ninja.
He's like a ninja fighter. Hey man,
no, just ninja.
Just say ninja. He's like a ninja fighter. Did you
back me up, Courtney? You know I'm right?
Come on, Courtney. Did you realize?
I hate giving you credit. I really do, but I'll give it to you.
Right. So anyway, so Tommy and Nixon are fighting. Boom, 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 boom. Tommy has one of those like metal. It's like I don't know what the cops use. I think they're called blackjacks or whatever. It's like a metal pipe that kind of like extends. Is that what those are called? Is that what they're called?
No, those are batons, I believe.
Yeah,
it's
like they're like those like nightstick thingies. Is that what
yeah. Oh yeah, and you just
Right.
Yeah.
And so they're fighting and they're fighting, and I'm wondering like, wow, this movie could have been really cool if it was a vigilante movie about Tommy.
It could have been really cool if it weren't for the fact that they filmed in one room. Also that it was a very shitty movie. Just throwing that out there.
Right. So anyway, so they're fighting. Nixon drops his knife, and Tommy grabs his gun, and then he's on top of he's in the hallway, but then Nixon grabs the knife at the last minute and throws like a full like machete chop and splits his skull, and poor Tommy's dead. Right, he's gone.
Poor Tommy.
Poor
creator of this horrible movie.
But now we see Mikey, and so Mikey is there too. And so Mikey, see, this is the part that you didn't understand, because didn't you see when the two are fighting? When you see Skull Mask and Nixon Mask fighting? So those guys are fighting, right?
Oh,
and they're
True. I guess I didn't catch that before though.
Right. So anyway, so those guys they're fighting. Meanwhile, Bill and Jenny, they're trying to get out through the pool table room, but they're not having much luck. Jenny's hiding under the pool room. Nixon comes in and grabs her, and so now inside the pool room is.
I love how we're subtly hearing Kevin breathe into the microphone.
Is that from anticipation? Is it?
No. I'm just masturbating. That's all.
Okay, good.
At least there's an excuse.
I'm familiar with that sound. So, we're gonna get to that. So anyway, so now we're in the pool room, and Nixon grabs Jenny, and Bill's trying to get them. Get Jenny back. And now Nixon, Mikey, and Bill and Jenny are all in the pool room, all fighting, right? And they're fighting, and Mikey
is so unproductive.
Right. Mikey takes his mask off to show Jenny who he is, and he says to her, don't judge me, which I thought was pretty funny because, okay, but I'm still wondering where – the girl that's locked up in Mikey's room, not a peep out of her.
Not a peep out of her. I know she hears this bullshit. I know she hears all of this. I don't understand.
Right. And then finally, Nixon takes off his mask, and we see that it's Alex. Yep. Okay. And now here, Kevin, here's where the plot. I know you've.
Don't ever say plot and in this film in the same sentence again.
Here's where the greatness happens. We realize that Alex tells the group, Jenny, Bill, and Mikey, that Bill is worth $10 million because he's basically a snitch.
He's a plant, pretty much.
There's a contract out for somebody to kill Bill. For somebody to kill Bill, and Alex and Mikey are planning on killing him, blaming it on the halfway house people, and splitting the money. That's the plan.
Question.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that noticed that Bill has a slight accent that was very aggravating? Because he tried so hard to talk like straight American English, but he sounded like it was a struggle. Please, if you didn't notice that, please rewatch it, and it's gonna annoy the shit out of you. It bothered me so much.
I didn't catch that. I'll have to search because I'm usually pretty good at that, but he doesn't have a lot of dialogue.
When he got angry, it would slip up. Like when he was upset over somebody in the kitchen, I can't remember who it was. It slipped up so bad. I was like, oh my God, just either do it or don't. Do it or don't. Choose. It was bothering me. Just wanted to throw it out there.
Right. So anyway, so the story keeps going, and we realize that it's almost going to be like a Reservoir Dogs now, where everybody's going to die. And so Alex and Mikey are fighting, and they're fighting. And where at one point during this fight, Jenny gets stabbed with a pool cue. So now she's dead. Mikey and Alex are still fighting, and both of them end up dying. And so really, winding all the way down. So the only person that's really alive is now Bill.
Is the guy that was supposed to be dead.
Right, the guy. And so he escapes the property, right? And, kind of we're at the end of the movie, and he's escaped. Everybody's dead. Everybody. Daryl died.
God.
Daryl died. Irish Mike died. Mikey died. Alex died. Your
attention span died.
Yeah, my attention span died. So Bill is now outside, and it's this shot where he's kind of like waiting on the side of the freeway, or waiting on a road close to a freeway, and then all of a sudden, the black Suburban pulls up, and the black Suburban rolls its window down, and you hear this like, "Hey, Bill!" And he turns around, boom, 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 and it was
there's a jazz team in there.
Twist.
Yeah. Yes, twist, and you realize that Quinn had set everybody up. He ended up killing Bill. Quinn is the one that ends up winning the $10 million. Roll credits. This amazing movie is not over yet. So they're rolling the credits.
Wait a minute. They do a fucking Marvel scene here.
Yeah,
the post credits. Oh,
they
my
do a
God.
post credit.
No.
So guess what? So the credits are going, and then they go back to the naked girl tied up to poor Amber,
which was hilarious, by the way.
And she's like,
guys,
is anyone there? Is anyone there?
I was like, it's been a whole fucking 3.5 hours. Why are you so calm? Doug, she did knock back 17 shots at the bar. She may not have even noticed. Time may have gone like that for her. So I'll give her credit.
Right. We definitely give her credit. So it was, like I said, that movie was definitely, it was a bottom feeder. It was the worst of the worst. It was way down there.
Close.
They didn't have much of a budget. They just kind of rocked it. Independent. They shot 95% of it, as I said before. They shot it in a condo, which I thought was pretty funny. Could you imagine the neighbors with all the noise and stuff like that? That was pretty good. Now, Courtney, for you, tell me who your favorite character was. Did you have a favorite character in this?
You know what? I'm not going to say favorite character, but I will say favorite actor. And it's the one that played Daryl. You know why? Because he played the hell out of that role.
Right.
You hated him, but you felt bad, but you hated him, and you were disgusted about him, but you still felt bad. And then he gets sodomized to death. And so I'm like, oh, no, not Daryl. Also, no, not the only black guy in the movie. It's like a lot of emotion.
Right. Kevin, which was your favorite guy in the trailer? Which was your
the guy who clicked the X icon in the window, and that was me when it was over. This is terrible. No.
It really was. It could have been worse, but it was definitely the catfish of all the movies you've chosen. Just gonna put that out there.
Okay, well that was
perfect.
Well, just get ready, because I got plenty where that comes from, lady. I got plenty where that comes from.
I believe.
All right,
you.
So I'm gonna start winding things down, and I'm gonna go to Kevin first. Kevin, why don't you tell people in podcast land what's going on with you, where they can find you, what you're doing out there in the real world, and what you're doing in the zeros and ones world. Tell everybody what you're up to and where they can find you.
You can find me in New York City telling jokes. KevinGootee.com for my dates. I'll be at the Yonkers Comedy Club in Yonkers, New York, this Thursday at 7:30. Tomorrow I'll be at Iggy's on the Upper East Side at 7 o'clock. But on the old zeros and ones, as you just called it, Comics Watching Comics. That is dope. That's my show. I have it on the Amazon Video Network. That's right, Amazon. Comics Watching Comics, the show where intermediate comics do their thing and then are judged by comics with more tenure. Think of Last Comic Standing meets Mystery Science Theater 3000. That is the show. So if you like comedy, if you like a little reality TV /competition, this show is for you. We pull the curtain back on what it's like being a comedian and the journey we're going through, and what we see when we see people telling jokes, how we break it down for you guys. That is the show in a nutshell. Check that out on Amazon Video, on Twitter at Comics Watching, comicswatchingcomics.com. There you can buy a T-shirt. What the hell? Support me. I'm a nice guy at my daughter's college fund. Thank you very much. And then you can see the photos from behind the scenes, other cool things on the website as well. So Kevin Gootee on Twitter, KevinGootee on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. KevinGootee.com, ComicsWatchingComics.com, Comics Watching Comics on Twitter as well. That's me.
I love it. That's cool. That's I would say for people. Would you say Comics Watching Comics is really good for people that are kind of wanting to break into the comedy space?
It helps. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Because we're showing you a no bullshit view of what happens and what goes on, and how it's not just, hey, you're the funny guy at work, you should be on Netflix. No, far fucking from it. So we're going to show you the reality of the journey, which a lot of us decided to take.
Very cool. I will check that out. I will definitely check that out. Miss Courtney, what about you? What's going on this week? What's happening in the not too distant future for you? And how can everybody find you?
Well, I actually decided to start a new business venture, so I'll be talking about that probably on Wednesday. So that's pretty much where all of my brain space is going to. But other than that, you can catch us every Wednesday, the whole crew, Doug, me, all of our friends, Brandon, Troy, Carlos, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find me at it's CoCo Blue on all platforms. So that's basically where they can find me if they care to look up my life. You know, I need more friends, so come find me.
Okay. Now we're at the spot in the show where we're going to talk about the movie for next week. Kevin, do you want to know what we're going to watch next? You're welcome to come back.
But I can only imagine it's going to be as horrific as your choice for this week.
Okay, well, get ready. Do you want? I'm gonna shift over to my movie voice. Okay, Kevin.
I'm ready.
So you know.
Can I take a guess? Is it Amy Schumer's last film?
No, sir.
You mean all
no,
of
sir.
them?
I'm going way deeper. Listen to the tagline. Ready? Here we go. Two women who have been unjustly confined to a prison planet plot their escape, all the while having to put up with lesbian guards, crazed wardens, and mutant rodents. Sandy Brooke and Susie Stokey star in
The Grapes of Wrath.
Slammer. Yeah, The Grapes of Wrath. Star Slammer from 1985.
No, we're back to the 80s.
We're back to the 80s. Come on, man. A movie with lesbian guards? I can't believe it. It's going to be amazing.
Or as I call that, real life.
So there you go. So get ready for that one. Everybody in podcast land, I'll post the trailer or a link to it on the Facebook page, and you know how we do it. So speaking of that, winding the show down. Thanks to Courtney, Savage Media Radio, for having me and doing the podcast with me today. That's great. Thank you, Mr. Kevin, for coming out and hanging out with us. That's super great. If you want to find Worst of the Worst podcast, you can check both handles are at podcast WOTW on the Instagram platform and on the Twitter platform. If you want to try to track it down in the Facebook page, Worst of the Worst, just like that. You can also find the show on iTunes. So if you listen to iTunes, that's where you could get and review the show. That's super cool. If you want to hit us on email, podcast WOTW@gmail.com or savageonair@gmail.com. Yeah. Other than that, that's our show, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. I hope to see you next week. If you want to shoot us some info, we would love to hear from you. Courtney, play that closing music. Let's get out of here.
Thanks, guys. Bye, guys.
Bye.